Run 1 of the taper complete. 2 weeks to go. Let's talk about it. Just wrapped up our Tuesday morning lift. So, tapering is about decreasing your weekly volume while still keeping intensity somewhat high. That way, you're resting and you're recovering the days and weeks leading up to race day so that you can go all out, be fully recovered, and hit some awesome times. Typically, they recommend that during your taper, you don't cross train. They say cross train. I just say weightlifting. Now, me, I'm big in routine. So for my taper, today is Tuesday. Race isn't until next Sunday. So what I do is today I still went pretty hard, but I transitioned over to machines and cables only. I took out the free weights, the dumbbells, the barbells, and just removed some of that variable to pull a muscle, tax your central nervous system a little bit more, but still lift some weight. So that way I'm still getting a good pump, I'm still getting a good workout, but it reduced risk of injury and taxes my CNS a little bit less. Now, taper week, I'm still gonna work out. I am big on routine. I wanna wake up at the same time. I don't wanna mess with my sleep. I don't wanna mess with what I've been doing throughout training, but I also wanna recover more. So next Tuesday, I'm still gonna go to the gym. I'm only gonna use machines and I'm gonna go really light. This one is just about getting the blood moving. It is not about getting a good workout. And then that'll be my last lifting session. I won't lift Thursday. Definitely not going to lift Saturday before the run. So really, I only have 2 more lifting sessions before race day. And at this point, I'm not worried about losing muscle, gaining muscle, being jacked. It's just sticking to my routine, not changing things up just because it's race week. Letting my body recover and getting ready to roll. It is our last long run. So this long run is not like our other long runs that we've been doing. It is much shorter. So today's long run is 14 miles. That is shorter than almost every run we've been doing the last few weeks. This run's purpose is not to build fitness, but to maintain it. Let our legs recover a little bit, decrease the distance, still get that leg turnover so we can keep our speed, same intensity of a workout, just a shorter distance. This is a great mentality shift because Wednesdays have been long lately. Starting your day with a 20-mile run and then carrying on the rest of the day, you're wiped. But today, 14-mile run. This is like a Monday morning, an easy run. Might get a couple strides in there, hit some race pace, but for the most part, it'll be a nice, easy run. If my goal race pace is an 8-minute mile, the easy runs you do should be 45 to 90 seconds slower than your race pace. So typically my easy runs, I've been doing 9-minute miles. That's 60 seconds slower than race pace. We need to do tempo, threshold, all that. you're obviously going much faster than your race pace. So this workout, I'll hit 2-3 miles where I'll try to stride out 8-minute miles. But for the most part, I'm going pretty slow. Right now, I'm at like an 8:45 pace, a little over halfway through this workout. And it's hard because your body's starting to get rested. The workouts are way shorter than you're used to. And it's almost hard to hold yourself back. You're like, oh, 14-mile run, piece of cake. I'm gonna just rip through this real quick. But you don't wanna do that. This is about maintaining fitness and recovering, not putting up PRs for your 14-mile run or whatever it is. All I can think about on that run, good for you to visualize like the actual race day and what you're gonna do at the end. You know, one, to pass time in these workouts, two, visualize yourself having success. But I saw on Nike, because I was trying to find a singlet for race day, a Nike tank top that said "Stop Pre." And if you don't know who Pre is, I couldn't tell you the most in-depth story about him. But if you haven't read the book Shoe Dog, you probably wouldn't understand. But I believe he was Nike's first ever sponsored athlete, and he's an Olympic track star, won gold medals, super fast guy, and their whole slogan was "Stop Pre," and all I could think about on that run was, somebody stop Pre. Hopefully one day people will say that about me. Somebody stop Tyler. Probably not about running, hopefully in some other area of life. I don't think it's in my genetic composition to ever become fastest man on the planet. I think that's reserved for someone else. But that doesn't mean we can't try. It's not really the goal, but we're still gonna put effort towards it. Woo! 14 miles, that felt easy. We're locking in. We are locking in. 3-mile easy run today. And it's so funny. 3 miles, 20 miles, no matter how many miles, getting yourself to run is always tough. I'm halfway through this 3-mile run, and halfway, no matter the distance, it's always a struggle to get halfway. Wrap this up. So how much should you taper? A taper is typically 2 to 3 weeks. For me personally, I like 2 weeks, just a little bit shorter. Mentally, I don't like cooling, hitting the brakes for that long. But if you're dealing with some injuries leading up to race day and you feel like you need more recovery, then 3 weeks is great. But basically, you're taking your peak mileage, which is normally right before the taper, and you're reducing it by 60 to 80% of that total mileage. So if you're doing 3 weeks, you're probably going to be closer to reducing it to 80%. If you're doing 2 weeks, you might want to drop it down to 60%. It's just all preference, how you're feeling, and there's really no wrong or right way to put a blanket statement over everyone. It's all personal preference. It takes time to realize what you like and what your body needs to come out hot on race day. That's how you taper it. And the real question that you need to ask is, why should you taper? Why should you slow down, decrease your mileage, decrease your effort, move less as race day gets closer, right? Mentally, that is so challenging to get over and get through. You get antsy. All of a sudden you have so much energy. You realize how much time you've been spending. All of a sudden you have this time and energy. You start going crazy. Remember when most of these runs earlier in training were in daylight, or at least the sun was rising? And I think it was like 6 weeks ago, I was saying, man, it's about to get real scary. These runs about to be dark. We just wrapped up our 8-mile, I guess, easy run. They're all pretty easy at this point. 2 miles of race pace, felt good. I do know that these shoes I've been training in are cooked. Good thing there's only a few runs left, and then I'll wear my new race shoes. But after that, I'm gonna have to get some new ones because these babies got some miles on them. Always so funny, or not even funny. It's always a weird feeling and good feeling when you're doing these runs and the seasons change. It makes you realize how much freaking work you're putting in. The time, the effort. You remember beginning of the year being cold, waking up in the morning, freezing, hating it, and then finally, boom, starts warming up. You're pumped. You're taking your shirt off. You're running early in the morning. The sun's rising while you're running. You're sweating so much, and then it starts getting too hot. It's almost unbearable to run, and you're dreading each run because you got brain fog afterwards because you're so dehydrated. And now it's cooling down again, and it just makes you take a step back and think about all the time and effort that you put into this thing. Happy Saturday morning. We had Good Friday. Took the boat out with some buddies before sunset.
There's no seat in the front. Yeah, pretty much. Maybe. But I'm saying, like, what's that? The Bay hybrid or what?
No, they're.
Dude, that felt so damn good.
And then had some fun with our friends celebrating Halloween. Sang, dance. Fantastic evening. Saturday now, though, we are 8 days away from race day. So no more games leading up till there. I'm resting, recovering, and we're gonna have a fantastic race week. Today, I think Brooke and I she's at this new Taylor Swift bookstore downtown. I'm going to the gym as soon as I can find a shirt somewhere to work out in. Workout, Brooke's doing bookstore, and then I think we're gonna go to the pumpkin patch. It's 82 degrees out here, so not very fall. I might even lay by the pool for a little bit, catch some rays, get a pumpkin, carve it tonight, cook some dinner, and go to bed. So that is my Saturday. Beautiful weather, good workout coming in, eating some food, taking some naps, and most importantly, watching Alabama win. Most importantly. All right, let's go get this workout. I was telling Brooke first thing this morning that it was so nice waking up Saturday morning, not so sore from a week of 60 miles. Finally was able to wake up and feel good. You kind of forget like what life is like when you're 18 weeks in. You forget what life's like to not be sore and in pain the whole time, and all this pressure built up around the race and your days, your weeks, and finally like taper week, taking a step back is so nice mentally, which is a huge part of tapering. Is you want to keep that in mind to keep running out of mind. At this point, you're physically fatigued, but also mentally. You put so much pressure and so much focus in planning your days and your workouts. These tapers, you want to make sure that you're forgetting about running a little bit. You're planning out what you need for race day, you're planning out your race, but don't overthink all this running with all the more time you have now. You want to make sure you're giving yourself a mental break.
A snack.
Need a snack. And that's it. Last run before race week, 5 miles. Ran a little quicker than race pace for 1 mile, but the rest just nice and easy. Doing exactly what you should for a taper. The purpose of a taper is to rest and to recover. The last 16, 20 weeks, you've been pounding your body, increasing mileage, running on dead legs, lifting hard, training hard. A lot of people think like, hey, I've only got a couple weeks left, time to really dial it in. But you should have done that 10 weeks ago. At this point, you're not benefiting yourself by pushing any harder. Your body's been worn down from all the mileage you've been doing, and now you just want to keep that leg turnover, let your legs rest so that you can come out big for your marathon. Back when I was in college, I was a huge academic. I say I love studying, but it was a love-hate relationship. But as soon as I knew when that test was, as soon as I had some material, I would start studying. And then the day before the test, I wouldn't even study. And everyone knows that person that would stay up all night or just cram the morning of, cram the night before, maybe pull out an A, probably fail the test. And that's because you should have put the work in when you had the time a long time ago. So the purpose of tapering isn't to improve fitness. It's to let yourself recover and reap the fruits of your labor of all the work that you've been putting in the last 16, 20 weeks, whatever it is. Next week is race week. We've got a couple easier runs and then the hard run. But really, if you put the work in the last chunk of training, all of training, race day really is to show off and have some fun. The work's been done. Like I said before, hay's in the barn. On to the final week.